Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Friday, November 17th of 2023. Cheers! I got some coffee here. I just started I haven't been drinking coffee for that's a funny thing. I probably have had more coffee in the last 2 years than like the previous 30 combined. Because now I'm into coffee. I guess I was pretty much vehemently against coffee in my 20s, and then something happened once I hit 30. Like Saturn was just like, "Nah, you're gonna drink coffee now." so, but I've never had a coffee maker. So, yeah, my mother-in-law actually got me a coffee maker. So cheers to that. So I went out and grabbed myself some coffee, some creamer. So I'm enjoying a nice cup of coffee on my birthday. So yeah, and I figured I'd just go live for it. If you guys happen to hear a lot of noise in the background, they're doing a lot of work and stuff. Like in our apartment, we have this walkway up, and they're redoing everything. So we can't even use the front door anymore. In fact, it's boarded up. We have to use the back door and the fire escape now, which is a bit of a pain, but it just kind of is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I figured I'd go live for this. Thanks for joining live. Uh, yeah, I just definitely want to hop in here. I don't go to work until 1 o'clock, so I figured I'd just come on here and just, you know, we'll talk about the astrology, of course. I don't know how long this video will be. I don't think it'll be too long. I've already been like surprised on my birthday quite a bit. So my wife surprised me. Like I just wasn't expecting what she did last night, but I'm super grateful to her. She means the world to me, and I already talked to my mom and I already talked to my dad today. So definitely feeling the love. Um, but thank you, Skywalk Trace. I really appreciate you joining live. Um, but yeah, I just figured I'd do a little bit of decorations too. We got the birthday cake. We got the Phoenix here and the streamers and the balloons. I figured let's make it a little bit festive, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny too, because I the past few years I never was really super big about my birthday. Of course, I know about solar returns and all this sort of stuff, but I figured why not have a little bit of fun with it. Plus, this little phoenix bird at the bottom corner I thought was really cute. Um, yeah, I thought it was really cute. I was like, that's really cool. So I honestly might end up staying. So I might end up throwing him in somewhere. So you just notice the little phoenix, and eventually I'll get my own little logo made. I think that's what I'll. Maybe one of the things I do for my birthday this year is get a logo, like a phoenix logo made. My name is Sandra. Okay, cool. Thanks, Sandra. I really appreciate it. I have an aunt named Sandra as well, so but anyways, like I said, this is going to be your astrology forecast for November 17th of 2023. And, as of right now, of course, we could see, that Sun and Mars are still moving with each other. I want to say they do come into their full conjunction today, although it may be tomorrow, but we will definitely take a look at that. We do, of course, have that moon in Capricorn today. It's going to stay in Capricorn for pretty much the whole day. We'll catch up to Pluto later on in the evening, going into Saturday, going into this weekend. So, I've been kind of saying, I talked about it on the forecast yesterday. The moon out of bounds, Mercury out of bounds. Essentially, what that means that whenever a planet is out of bounds, it means that the energy of that planet is very exaggerated, and it can be kind of how do I say this? I guess you could say unruly, unkempt. It can kind of be, it's like I said, it's very hyperbolic. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily the smoothest expression of that energy. So with the Mercury out of bounds in Mercury, where it doesn't, Mercury out of bounds in Mercury, Mercury out of bounds in Sagittarius, where it's already in its detriment. And then you have a moon in Capricorn, which is also in its detriment, and they're both out of bounds. Like I said, when it comes to when it comes mentally, When it comes emotionally, we're kind of out of bounds. Things are a little bit exaggerated, things are a little bit hyperbolic, and it can make for some weird energies. Like, for example, like, I was watching Leo King, and he was covering this, and I saw I saw like a bit of this, but apparently there's something about Osama bin Laden's letter that is going viral on TikTok, and a bunch of people are like stunned and flabbergasted about this letter and saying that Osama bin Laden was right. And I'm sitting here just shaking my head. I'm like, this is their Hail Mary. I told y'all that there was going to be some Hail Marys that are thrown, some last ditch efforts. A lot of that is this Pluto at the end of Capricorn. A lot of it's this Neptune here at the end of Pisces. Um, this is a Hail Mary that they're trying to throw. We all know that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't know. Shit, am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. But I mean, so this if this video gets taken down, so be it. But yeah, like we all know the circumstances around that date are weird, crazy, right? And we have this letter that came out, and a lot of people are tripping out about it. And I'm like, dude, he was like, don't fall for the tricks. Don't fall for the trickery. This is like this Mercury and Sag out of bounds that already squared Neptune. I mean, already squared Saturn. Now it's getting ready to square Neptune. Not to and not too long from now, it's gonna have people wanting to believe crazy, weird, off the wall things and try and get you to go along with the narrative. I guarantee you, most of these people that are making these TikTok videos about this letter from Osama bin Laden, I guarantee you, most of them hadn't even read it. You can't tell me that the platform, which breeds having a low attention span or short attention span, you can't tell me that these people are actually reading this letter. I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe it. So be prepared to just see, and that's just one example. Be prepared to see like weird Hail Marys thrown to try and convince people or try to convince others to believe a certain narrative or to go along with a certain idea. Like I said, this is Mercury in detriment out of bounds, Moon in detriment out of bounds. So it's not exactly what's being presented to you. You might want to look deeper. You might want to think deeper. You know what I'm saying? This is still Sun with Mars and Scorpio, which we haven't seen them conjunct in Scorpio since 1991. Like a week before I was born is when they conjuncted, in Scorpio. It was the last time that we saw this. And before that, it was like the 50s. It was like the late 50s. So, like, this is energies that we don't get very often. And Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which you don't get that very often either. So we are in very rare times. So this is why I've been telling people, I've been like having a lot of different conversations with people just about how to navigate these energies. A lot of people are like starting to like really wake up, and maybe they feel ostracized from their friends or their families. And I have to let people know, it's like, look, you have some grace on yourself during this time, because first of all, these are rare energies that we're going through. No one has all their ducks in a row. If you meet anyone that says that they have all their shit together and all their ducks in a row, don't believe them. Ain't nobody got all their ducks in a row. So everybody got some part of their life where there needs to be work. Some part of their life is under construction. You know what I'm saying? Under some major construction. And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. The way that we get through this is in many ways the Sun and Mars, right? That's the way that we get through this. It's knowing that we have an extra gear, a deeper gear. This is like when Rock Lee is unlocking the gates, and you have Scorpio in many ways is about the limiters, because like Scorpio is like this deep, this is deep, intense, potent kind of power. But since Scorpio also rules barriers, oftentimes what will happen is that we will have these sort of locks and limits on our power. But as we grow, as we go through certain experiences, these things unlock and we gain more power. It's just like, say, if you take like a Pokemon, right? yeah, a Charmander will eventually learn how to use Flamethrower, but it has to grow some levels. It has to unlock, it has to gain some experience. It has to evolve into Charmeleon, and then eventually it'll sprout wings and be able to fly. So it's like, I think a lot of times what will happen is that sometimes we may jump the gun. We may get so frustrated that we can't learn Flamethrower yet when we're a Charmander and we still have Ember and Scratch and Tail Whip. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, too. In some areas of your life, you're a fucking Charizard. In some areas of your life, you're a Charmeleon. In other areas of your life, you're a Charmander. In some areas, you're just an egg. You haven't even freaking been born yet. It's like I think we all want to be Charizard in every single area of our life, even though Blastoise is superior. But like it's like we want to be that in all areas of our life, but we can't. But it's like Mars and Sun and Scorpio is for everybody, unlocking deep, powerful, potent potential. And it's just going to be whether or not you allow yourself to have that be expressed. And honestly, it's like, how is it going to come across? Because this is Mars still. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This can come out as anger. This can come out as, this can come out as anger. This can come out as like this warrior, like, I'm going to beat your ass kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? So this is, it may not necessarily be expressed the best way, especially when our mind, with Mercury is in Sag, and then emotionally it's in Capricorn, detriment, out of bounds. Not exactly the easiest energy to deal with, but we each have a very unique superpower. And if we can just realize that and learn how to access that and learn how to express it without being, while still remaining in vibrational integrity. I think that's what it comes down to. And what is vibrational integrity? Well, that's something that I'm talking to myself every day about. What is vibrational integrity? Well, integrity is, doing what you say you're going to do, right? And then the vibrational aspect, of course, is like, well, asking yourself, okay, if I'm wanting to go to a higher vibration, is this in line? Is this in integrity? And you're not going to get it 100% every single time. You know what I mean? I think a good practice that I've seen some people do is carry around a picture of their younger self. And so whenever they're about to make a decision, they look at their younger self and ask, like, well, how will my younger self respond to this? Is this something that's going to hurt my inner child? Like I said, we're not going to be perfect. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes and you're going to want to push the boundaries and, kind of want to, cross the caution tape. Scorpio is very much so the caution tape, but it's also like, come here, come here, come here, right? But I believe that we all are unlocking very deep potential that's just been kind of sitting there dormant, right? But it's about to come forth, and you will really see this come forward once Mars and the Sun hit Capricorn. Because right now it's in Scorpio, so this is like the bottom of the ocean kind of deal. Then it's going to reach Sag, and then when it hits Capricorn, that's actually like the island beginning to form or the volcano erupting from the water, like the vents and everything like that, and then it actually peeks through the water and shit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Sagittarius is like the plasma, so it's like the vision and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, maybe you have like a vision for something in your life, but right now you feel like you're at the bottom of the ocean. There's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of weight, right? It's dark down there. But, then it comes Sag season, which is going to be an interesting one because as soon as the Sun reaches Sagittarius, it's going to square Saturn, right? It's going to square Saturn. Mars will square Saturn too. And then at the end of it, it's going to square Neptune towards the end of it. So the holidays are going to feel a little bit weird. We're still going to be looking for the joy. We're still going to be looking for the holiday spirit and cheer. We may not necessarily feel it the way that we want to feel it. It may not feel as jovial this year, but it's going to be really important to appreciate those people in your life that matter, those things that you have in your life, especially with a Jupiter that's going to be retrograde through this entire holiday season, and it's in Taurus. You got to think about Taurus is like physical stuff. So you're talking about physical gifts and shit. So You may not be giving as much gifts this year. You may not be receiving as many gifts, but the true gift comes from within. The true gift is the breath of life. The true gift is that heart. The true gift is God is within you and you seeking that relationship with God. That's the true gift. So I feel bad for those that don't have good relationships with their parents or their siblings, or they don't have a lot of friends. Maybe they feel ostracized and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I would say that in one area of my life, I can work on my friend aspect, but I have good relationships with both my parents. I have a wonderful, beautiful wife. I have a good relationship with her parents. And I do have some friends. I just don't hang out with friends a lot. That's it. You know? But I think Pluto, once it goes into Aquarius, is actually going to fix a lot of that stuff. I think Pluto and Aquarius is going to break down a lot of barriers when it comes to friends and relating to people and relating to the world. And we're probably going to discover our human origins when Pluto goes into Aquarius as well. All this is the precursor to that. But, like I said, we are unlocking deep potential. There's been limits on your power for a good reason. There's a reason why the universe will put limits on our power, because if we were to express all of it at an earlier time, our bodies might not be able to handle it, right? If you have been getting chills more lately, if your ears have been ringing more lately, if you've been sleepier lately, if you get dizzy, if any of these things, if you are experiencing more inflammation, Mars rules inflammation. And with Mars and the Sun conjuncting in Scorpio, no less, right? This could be dealing with like sexual shit too, right? Just being real, right? This could be dealing with reproductive issues as well, potentially. But I'm saying, like, the good thing is that these guys are at least enshrined to Neptune, right? But, this is one of those moments, like I said, it's like we have to dig deep and we have to just appreciate the whole journey, because, like I said, if we were to receive these powers at an earlier time, our bodies probably won't be able to handle it. So we are going through a major update right now. We're going through a major update. I mean, freaking Uranus is in Taurus. And Taurus, in many ways, is like the physical body. It's the toroidal field. And with Uranus in retrograde, right, it's like we are I guess you could say we're in the downloading period. So we're like downloading the updates. So yeah, if you're sleepier, if you get chills more, if your ears are ringing more, it's because you're downloading updates, right? Especially if they're coming off the back of conversations and different experiences and synchronicities that you're having. And then you immediately get that biofeedback where your ears are ringing, you get chills, maybe you get a little dizzy, maybe you have to go to the bathroom. That happens to me. When I'm getting a download and the energy is intense, I have to go to the bathroom, right? Because I got to release whatever I need to release, and then I get the full, it sinks in and shit. That happened to me yesterday. So like if you're going through that, then that means that you're upgrading, and everyone is upgrading. It's just whether or not people realize it or not. If you're watching this, then congratulations, you have the awareness that you're upgrading. So have some grace in yourself, and things are good. Things are going to come in time. It's been a little fucking weird and shit. Are you a number 3 like me? Yes, I am a life path 3. Yes. I am indeed a life path 3. Yep, absolutely. It's all about expression. And where's my book? I have like a book about this stuff. I don't know where it is. That's Astrology and Relationships. That's not the one. Although this is a really good book too. I need to go through all this stuff. Oh look, I turned right to Venus and Libra, which is what I have. I need to actually go through this book a little bit more. And you see that sometimes you have all the tools. Like sometimes we just accumulate tools and we may not use them as much, but I mean, shoot, let's read what Mars and Scorpio is. I know this is like a book, it's like astrology and relationships, but let's see where is Mars at? Mars and Gemini, Mars and Leo, Mars and Libra. 3 Mars is Scorpio. This is what I have. So you are a passionate person, and for you, passion is more than a sensual experience. You also enjoy the psychological transformations that you and your partner experience. You function best in an intimate one-to-one relationship. Issues concerning control, money, and sex are likely to be hotspots in your relationships. It would be wise to always evaluate your motivations when you are in conflict over these issues. Remember the basic metaphysical premise: outer reality mirrors inner reality. I'm gonna just stop it right there as far as that goes. A lot of people are looking at this is the big thing, right? And this is where, and after this I'll go into the cards. Outer reality reflects inner reality. People forget this shit because people will turn a blind eye to the world and see all the craziness that's happening, all of the wars and everything. You don't think for a second there's not a war within you. Your body is constantly fighting off shit so you can stay healthy. It's a war in there. But when we turn a blind eye to the war out there, then we turn a blind eye to the war within us. And then we're left wondering, why do I have headaches? Why am I experiencing this anguish, this pain, this problem? It's because, yes, we can't just go out and just fix the world and save the world, but to just put our head in the fucking sand is not going to do us any favors either. There's so many people that is like, oh, I don't watch the news. Oh, I don't pay attention to this. Oh, I don't do that. I'm like, well, shit, are you paying attention to yourself? More than likely, no. You're probably distracting yourself with different things. And we all have our entertainments. We all have our stuff, but you can't just stick your head in the sand. There's so many people are just sticking their head in the sand. It's like they don't want to pay attention to the things that are going on out there. I think it's like there's got to be a way for us. You're in this matrix, regardless. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You're in this fucking matrix. I think one of the big things with the awakening experience of spirituality, if you're on this path, is that like you wake up, you have this awakening experience. Maybe you have a Kundalini awakening experience. I've had one. You have like a moment of enlightenment, and then you go right back to being a regular person. And then that's when the dark night of the soul usually happens, because you're like, I thought I figured it out, and it's a lifetime journey. And then that's when people get depressed and anxious and all that shit. But you have to realize that's like, it's an ongoing thing. We have to learn how to dance within this matrix. And yeah, it's definitely glitching. Oh, this matrix is most certainly glitching. If you don't think for a second that this Pluto and Aquarius that we're going to be experiencing over the next 20 years we're going to see. You thought the matrix was glitching now. Be prepared to see some of the biggest glitches of your life in the next 20 years. Straight up. But you wouldn't have incarnated here during this time if you couldn't handle it. So there's nothing to be afraid of. If you get anything out of this message today, there's nothing to be afraid of, if anything. So, I mean, like, we move this throughout the day, you know what I'm saying? So you can see Mars and Sun are traveling with each other. We got that Mercury over there at 11 degrees. The moon's here at 20 degrees. It's going to make a nice little trine over to Uranus. And then, come towards the end of the day, it's not going to quite conjunct to Pluto. That's going to be more of like an overnight aspect. It will square the nodes, though. It will square the nodes at 24 degrees tonight. So we have that aspect. Remember, like I said, moon, out of bounds, in detriment. And then, of course, we have South Node in Libra. Venus is there, too. Venus can't turn up like she wants to, right? And then you got that North Node in Aries, which is wanting us to find a different gear as well. But then you have Eris, the planet of discord and strife here. So it's so weird. It's like there's so many people that are really wanting to express this deeper sense of who they are, because we got to think about it. As far as like the planets that kind of define who we are, you have the sun, which is like your vitality and your spirit, but then like Mars is like your outward expression, if you will, what you kind of project. You know what I mean? So That's the thing about it. Like Mars rules the natural first house, which is the ascendant. So the way that you kind of project your personality outwards. So those are the two primary things that kind of we express ourselves through personality wise. And we have the North Node in Aries there. So many people want to express how they are evolving in this new version of themselves, but they know it's going to cause some strife and some discord within their relationships, within their families and stuff like that. And they probably are afraid to. And this moon in Capricorn is not really going to help because it's going to square that energy and it's going to be getting close to Pluto, which is having everybody on the edge, wondering when exactly this society is going to collapse. It's already collapsed. We're just in the catch-up area. We're catching up to everything. So, like I said, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The energies aren't easy, but you have the capability to get through this. And I think that really, like I said, it comes down to the Sun and Mars, which we haven't gotten since 1991, right? Palindrome year. So, you know, yeah. Let me go ahead and get into the cards, and then gotta go to work. I gotta be there at 1, so I don't have to leave just yet. But yeah, hopefully you guys like the little decorations, and wonder if you guys hear anything in the background. So I do apologize about that. But in any event, let's see what we have going on with the cards today on my birthday. And actually, it's funny too. So like, I think my official solar return happened at like 2:35 a.m. or something like that. It's when the sun reached. Oh my gosh, I'm such an astrology nerd. It reached 24 degrees 41 minutes. That is my sun in Scorpio. So, but I was born at 8:22 in the morning. So yeah. In any event, let's see what we have going on for the cards today. You guys probably hear that stuff in the background. Ooh, that's pretty loud. And life kind of feels like that. Life kind of feels like we're under construction. It feels like we're under construction, but we still have to work and function. It's like maybe your house is undergoing major renovations, and you still have to cook your breakfast and have your lunch and stuff like that while everything's being fixed around you. While you may like in one part you may be able to see straight through the sky because they got to fix the roof in this room, and life is kind of like that right now. And it's like we're trying to get by and go through, and of course we want everything to be perfect. We want everything to be solid and straight, and we want everything to be finished, if you will. But it's an ongoing process, and life just kind of feels under construction. Background sounds, it's just life, right? Yeah, it's just life, You know what I'm saying? And that's a perfect way of putting it. So we have the Six of Cups in reverse. It's funny too with this. I think there's a desire to want to go back to the past, but the past is the past and it's done and it is what it is. But there's so many people that want to go back. So many people want to go back to like the early 2000s. They want to go back to the 90s or the 80s or the 50s or the 20s for some people. Some people want to go back to the fucking 1800s. And I'm like, no, sorry. It's like, no, why do we want to go back to the past? The past is the past. We can appreciate things from the past. We can hop into time portals and visit the past via music and shit, but the past is the past. As far as like physically going back there or thinking that we should reestablish some things that we had in the past and stuff, like there's so many people want to like repeal the amendment that gave women the right to vote. I'm like, I don't agree with that. I was like, oh yeah, well, the giving women the right to vote has caused this thing and this thing and this thing. I'm like, potential side effects. Yeah. So I don't think we should go back to that shit. Hell no. So that's the thing about the Six of Cups. Like people want to go back to the past and shit. Yeah, that followed by the Queen of Pentacles. So there's this ability for us to really see our worth, see our value, and this is like she's like in the tree. She has become the tree. So it's like we have to like be that in our life, realize that we are the entirety of that tree. And are you taking care of yourself? Are you watering yourself? Are you giving yourself the right nutrients? Are you getting yourself the sun? Are you Are you grounding yourself? The Queen of Pentacles, she knows her worth, she knows her value, because every single day she does things to give back to herself and to give back to the earth, give back to God as well. So it's on the time of my on my birthday, my solar return was at the time of my birth, and the transit moon was conjunct my natal with a 4-degree orb. But that is actually really cool. I had to look to see I had to look back at my past birthdays and stuff and see if there was ever a time where the sun was at on my birthday, if the moon was really close to my natal moon. So that's actually really cool. The moon today is going to sextile my natal moon. Pluto's in sextile to my natal moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. So I've had Neptune on my moon too this whole time, guys. So yeah, that's been interesting. Not everyone's going to experience that in their lifetime. Not everyone's going to experience Pluto conjuncting their sun. Not everyone's going to experience Neptune on their sun or their moon. So that's kind of the cool thing about this. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Pentacles once again. So this is one of my favorite cards because I call this the in the lab card. I call this the going into practice 5 hours before everyone else. This is taking 1,000 shots before practice starts, like Basketball Reference. This is the in the lab card. The spider works on a new web every single day. There's pufferfish. Pufferfish apparently will make these geometric mandalas in the sand to attract a mate. And they will spend hours making these cool mandalas in the sand, and then just to attract a mate. That is fucking dedication. Just to reproduce, right? If these animals are willing to go through these fucking lengths to eat or reproduce, what the fuck is our excuse? Because we like to think that we've evolved past that, and we have a higher purpose and a higher mission and shit. But that's the thing about this. It's those beautiful things in life, those beautiful masterpieces in life, they take time. So be easy on yourself and allow yourself to grow and go with the process and realize that you have nothing to worry about. I think I think we can reminisce about the past, but I think a lot of times we overly romanticize the past, especially us, those of us in the spiritual community. We romanticize Atlantis, we romanticize ancient Egypt. I think it's good to know about these energies and I think it's good to maybe revisit them, to maybe uncover certain things, certain aspects of ourselves. But we got to create the new Atlantis or new Egypt. That's what I'm focused on anyways. The new, you know what I mean? So it's that's what we need to move forward to. We can overly romanticize the past, but the past is the past for a reason, and not that we're not supposed to just forget about the past, because if you just forget about it, sweep things under the rug, then you bring things up. But like I said, history has a tendency to rhyme. Doesn't really do this. It's not really the same. It tends to rhyme. It's like a game of phone that echoes, but it kind of changes. That game of phone where one person tells one person a thing, and then they keep going down the line. And by the time you get to the 20th person, the story is not quite the same and shit. That's kind of what these transits do. You know what I mean? So Sun and Mars together here in Scorpio is going to be a little bit different than how it was in 1991, but there's a bit of an echo, right? It's a similar energy, but it's also based off of all the other planets that are happening around it too, right? So like I said, Saturn and Neptune being together in Pisces echoes, but it's still different. So utilize this rare time. Know that you came here for a purpose. Know that you're here for a reason, and know that you can handle these energies, and that you are more than capable of creating that masterpiece in your life. Just know that it takes time. Just trust the process. Anyways, that's going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and all the support. I don't mind working on my birthday. I worked on my birthday last year, but I also have the next 4 days off. So I'm going to take that time to spend it with friends, family, appreciate those things in life, and just take time to appreciate your family, take time to appreciate your kids, your pets, your friends, your loved ones, the things that you already have in your life. Just make yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea, and just sit down and just appreciate that, because these are the moments that matter. These are the moments that we will look back on. So thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful, spectacular day. Thank you so much, Sandra, for joining live, and I'll see y'all on the weekend astrology forecast. Peace.